to that specific court to place this docket on the roll, not to give it to these other prosecutors from that court.
Okay. And you have set out a date in paragraph 65 when you will be you'll be having a final consultation with the DPP on this matter.
That's correct, because I'm in contact with the advocate dealing with this matter. So these are the dates we agreed on to say we will sit down so that the final decision must be made.
And then thereafter, you will expect a formal decision by the NPA and you can take your next steps.
That's correct, Commissioners.
Okay. Then if you could deal with paragraph 66 and following.
I wish to further state on record that Marius, at the time of his death, had not been classified as Section 204, according to Criminal Procedure Act 51 of 1977. He was not classified as Section 204 witness because that can only be determined by the NDPP.
So we know Mr. Van der Merwe was killed on the 5th of December, 2025.
That's correct, Commissioner.
So you are saying, as at the date of his death on the 5th of December, he was not what we normally refer to as a Section 204 witness. He hadn't been so declared.
No, he was not a commissioner. He was still a suspect.
He was still a suspect.
Yes, that's
and
correct.
that is because it's a determination that can be only made by the NDPP?
That's correct, Commissioner.
It's not in your space to declare him or anyone such a witness.
No, we don't have that authority to do that. But even though, Commissioners, if I can just comment a bit on that, a Section 204 witness must tell all the facts of the matter that happened even if it incriminates him.
Yes.
But Marius didn't tell all the facts. So for me, he was not going to be declared as a Section 204 witness because he didn't tell all the facts. When he came to the commission, he added more information that he never told us.
Yes.
And then that information that was on the commission, going back to my case docket, I realized that yes, this is what transpired because I've got some proof to refer to. Then he was not going to be declared as a 204 witness.
Okay.
Yes, he was not honest enough.
Okay. That's clarified, I think. If you then can deal with your paragraph 67 and following.
I would further like to add that during the investigations into this matter, 3 of the suspects were killed and their murder cases are investigated by SAPS. Killed suspects were Yako Hanekom, as per mentioned March 2023 Boxback case number, Constable Kosa, as per mentioned docket case number from Zakane of October 2025, who was attached to Brakpan Police Station. The above 2 suspects were killed days before meeting with the IPID personnel for interview in relation to this investigation. Marius van der Merwe was later killed as per case 75 of 12/2025, as well after giving the evidence at the Madlanga Commission of Inquiry. His murder case is investigated by SAPS as well. The timing and circumstances of these deaths raise serious concerns regarding the safety of the witnesses and the potential obstruction of the ongoing investigation, which the Commission should consider. A further suspect, Willem Pretorius, took his own life on the 7th of February 2026, as per mentioned case number.
And that then leads us to the next chapter. If you could just deal with that, both of them, those paragraphs.
Yes, Commissioners. On this paragraph, there is somewhere whereby I've mentioned the case number of Yako Hanekom.
Yes.
Even himself, we were about to see him when he died. We remember that on the day of incident when he died, my colleague was in court for bail application that included Stalls.
Yes.
And Mackenzie. on that day, that is the day because we were communicating with Marius. He was the one who was helping us as to how to get hold of these people because he knew them better, even though we were protecting him during that period because we didn't want them to know that he gave statement. We will find a way of getting hold of them, but we didn't want them to see that there is one of them who came out with the information. We had tried to make contact so that we can get a hold of Hanekom. Then he was aware that he was supposed to meet with us. But before we could meet him, then he was killed. Same applies to Kosa. But I am not saying he was killed because of this matter. But they died before we can meet up with them. Yes.
Noted. We are then on the part of your concluding remarks at page 19, if you could deal with that.
I am aware of allegations that IPD either deliberately sought to subvert the investigation into death of Mpenze. I am also aware that some EMPD officers share this unfortunate view as testified before this commission by Chief of Police Mapieye and Commissioner Spies. Nothing could be further from the truth. I accept that these EMPD senior officers were unaware of progress in this matter. I confirm that we did not provide ongoing updates. We could not. This is so because we were investigating, amongst others, members of the very EMPD, and updates on investigation had a real risk of undermining our work. It was necessary to keep progress as secretive as possible, lest the suspects became aware of the progress made and the risk of arrest faced. In such circumstances, not only would the case be undermined, our lives will be in grave jeopardy. I am trying to explain, Commissioners, that I understood that when the testimony was given by our EMPD senior managers, even South Africa took as if we were doing this deliberately so that maybe we are protecting EMPD officers. It's either EMPD, any MPS organization, SAPS organization, we don't report to them in progress of our matters. They will only hear from us if our investigation is finalized to say we are charging the following members. But that doesn't stop us from communicating with these senior managers. Because if a member falling under them committed another crime somewhere, I need to contact the senior officer at that precinct. If I will not be communicating with two senior officers that gave evidence testimony here, Julius Mkhwanazi must be contacted because it was his members. Whenever we investigate a member, on most of my cases, of our cases as a team, Julius Mkhwanazi must give the commander's statement. There is no way that we could have avoided to say because we are investigating him in this matter, now we don't want to talk to him. We talk to them. Even not only them, any police officer, even if this police officer, I was charging him this morning for a certain matter. If another matter comes in, I will contact the same officer again because I'm doing my job. So,
Can I ask you a question, Ms. Masuku? Why not contact the chief of police in that department? Why contact a mid-level brigadier who's responsible for a division within EMPD? Why not contact the head of the EMPD if you are investigating members of the EMPD? I'll tell you why I'm asking. suspicion arose, and we heard from the EMPD senior people who came here that every time IPID went to EMPD offices, they would have meetings with Julius Mkwanazi. And they, as Chief of Police and Deputy Chief of Police, would not know what those meetings were about. And that created this suspicion that IPID is cozying up to Julius Mkwanazi and protecting him. So now that you have the context and the background, why not deal with the Chief of Police or Deputy Chief of Police? Because the people you are investigating are also their members. They are not Julius Mkwanazi's members. Do you follow?
I follow you, Commissioner. Commissioner, I will respond, but I won't respond fully because I think my colleague who's coming will have to respond to that. So I don't want to take his responses, but in light, it's not that even them, they were never contacted. There is proof for that. They were contacted. And the level of communication is the same to all of them. Furthermore, we conduct our station, we call it station lectures to the members to teach them about IPID's mandate, because members, they tend to be hostile when we arrive at the crime scenes. More especially to the crime scenes whereby they have fired shots. We have to disarm them for the firearms to be tested. That is when the hostility will start to say, why are we disarming them? Because of, we think they've got a lack of knowledge of our mandate. They need to understand our mandate first before they can get to these conclusions they are having about the department. It's part of our duties to conduct the station lectures. There are a few station lectures that were arranged with Julius Mkwanazi. They were fruitful. We went to their college. We did the station lecture. It was it's Mkwanazi who helped us in that. The reason was because his members are complaining to say, we seize their firearms, they don't get them back. It takes time to be tested at our forensic laboratories. Even at their precinct in Kempton Park, where we've conducted a few station lectures there with other units, these senior managers were there. Even because we take photos. When we do that, our department wants photos to see who was there and all that. We have photos when we're standing with them, these officers. In my office, I've plugged them on